Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming to our Delaware County Sustainability Commission meeting today. I'm just going to check really quickly if we have a quorum. We still need a couple of people from the public, but there are some things we can do before we have to approve the meeting minutes and such. So I will share my screen so we can get started. Our first item on the agenda is a welcome, roll call, and interactive question. So I'll start with the roll call. When I say your name, please say here or present. And I can't actually see you when I have the other file open. So please make sure you voice your presence here. Steve Clark. Jacqueline Rhodes. Joy Washington.
Present.
Thank you. Grace Vennett.
Here.
Thank you. David Director.
I'm here.
Thank you. Julie Prey. Cephas Hales Richardson. Crystal Gauld. Sean Stansel is still a member, correct?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
I forgot you couldn't see me.
Oh, sorry. Sean Stansel. Okay. Francine Locke.
Here.
Ed Orner. Ann Stauffer.
Here, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Gina Burrett.
Here.
Brooke Stayer. Ed McGargy.
Here.
And Becca, you're here. Laura Goodrich Cairns. Okay. So it looks like we need one more non-government employee member to be here to have quorum.
Carol,
So
I'm not sure if you saw it. Steve Clark is here.
oh, right, we have quorum now. Okay, let me go back to that and mark him as present. Okay, great. Okay, so now we have quorum, which is great. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is share my screen for just a fun interactive question. So all you have to do is use your cell phone, like your smartphone, or open another web browser on your computer. And so this question is, what are some inexpensive ways to be more sustainable? I've had some discussions lately with some elected officials where they were saying that being sustainable is also expensive. And I'd like to break that myth because that's not really true. Some things may seem more expensive, like if you want sustainable transportation, the solution is not the electric vehicle only. That's one of the solutions. Another solution is taking public transportation, which is not as expensive, or walking, or sharing a ride with someone. So there are inexpensive ways that we can be more sustainable that we may not even realize. So you put in code 5. So you go to menti.com, MENTI.com, and the code is 5249021. So again, it's Menti, MENTI.com, and the code is 5249021. What are some inexpensive ways to be more sustainable? So one answer here is stop buying so much stuff. Absolutely. That's a great way. You don't just not spending any money on so much stuff. Definitely. That's definitely an inexpensive way to be more sustainable is just don't buy as much just stuff. Home gardening, absolutely. Having like, even getting like locally grown fruits and vegetables, having your own garden. That's something I want to do in the new year, and we'll talk about that later on too, is that I don't currently have a home garden. Like that would be so amazing. Switching to LEDs and other energy efficiency upgrades because it saves money over time. Very true. And then reusing what you have, right? So it's not just about like reducing how much stuff you buy, but also reusing, I'm sorry if you hear my dogs, reusing what you already have, like before recycling it, or before you like giving something away that you no longer use. That's inexpensive. You just give it to someone and they can reuse it. Using public transportation, definitely. That's an inexpensive way to be more sustainable. Spend less on non-essential items, right? Having reusable mugs, reusable bottles, right? And that's an expensive way to be sustainable as well. Using free cycle, buy nothing, or other ways to reuse stuff. Lansdowne has a buy nothing group. I'm on there all the time, seeing like, is there something I want? Do I have something to give away? And it's amazing what you may think, oh, no one is going to want that. Like I had some like packing peanuts that I was like, I don't want to just throw them away. I mean, they're just taking up so much space. And I put it on buy nothing. And just so happened someone was in the middle of a move and needed like packing peanuts. I'm like, oh my gosh, like who would have thought? Like, so that's definitely inexpensive. It's just if you don't know how to connect to those communities, you can look on Facebook. Some of them are on Facebook. Free Cycle is on like a website, and I'm on Free Cycle too. All you have to do is indicate like what I guess what cities you want to be associated with. I think you can have up to like maybe 3 or 4, maybe even more, I'm not sure. And then you get notifications, or you just go into the website to see what things people are giving away. And then you can post something on there about like what things you'd like to give away. So feel free to reach out to me like, after this too, if you're not sure what those websites are, but that's a great resource. Another one, eat leftovers, don't throw them out. That's definitely an inexpensive way to be more sustainable. Try not to have as much like waste. Like if you have food, try to, eat your leftovers. And there's some neat ways that you can like spice up your leftovers to make it even taste a little differently. So like you're not as bored with it, having maybe something 2 days in a row that's very similar. So great. These are some great ways to be more sustainable, but it's not expensive. So, all right, I think these are some great ideas. All right, I'll stop sharing. Let's see. So now I'm just going to go over the instructions for public comment. Okay, throughout the meeting, we will be providing the opportunity for residents and guests to provide comments and feedback, during which time comments may be submitted by the following. 1, guests may submit written comment to the email sustaindelco@co.delaware.pa.us. That's sustaindelco@co.delaware.pa.us. And the second way is guests may also provide written comment in the chat window of the Zoom meeting. Yeah, I'll share my screen again. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from October and November. So here are the meeting minutes from October. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October?
I'll move we approve the October minutes.
Okay, thanks, David. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Ed. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, so moved. Our October meeting minutes are approved. Next is approving our meeting minutes from the November meeting. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that.
Okay, thanks, Ed. There's a motion to approve the meeting minutes for November. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, David. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, so moved. Our November meeting minutes are approved. So the next item on our agenda is the October 2024 meeting date. I think I'll pass this over to Becca.
Yeah, so this was my fault. As you guys may recall, in our November meeting, I had requested that we move our October 2024 meeting date to accommodate Yom Kippur. However, what I did not realize is our selected date of October 4th is Rosh Hashanah, which is also a very significant holiday in the Jewish faith. So I just wanted to put it out there that I'm requesting a new motion for an updated date. And it's worth noting that because we will be selecting a kind of like off date, we can also kind of cut the meeting a little bit shorter, like we did this past November, where we just do our reorganization items, just in recognizing that this is kind of an off date that most people have. So with that in mind, we would need a motion to approve either Friday, October 18th or Friday, October 25th for our October 2024 meeting date.
Either's fine with me.
Is there anyone else who'd like to share what date is better for them? And then we can have an official motion, but let's just have open discussion for a couple minutes. Are both of those good dates for everyone, or is one better than another? That's up to you.
Either of those dates looks fine for me. I'm thinking that maybe the 18th is better because it's a more even, period of time, but at both ends. If we go all the way to the 25th,
Yeah, I guess to have as a decent amount of space in between our meetings, I guess is,
yeah.
yeah. Is there anyone for which the 18th does not work? And I apologize, I can't see all of you right now because I'm sharing my screen. Here, let me stop sharing for a moment. Is there anyone for which the 18th does not work? And now I can see all of you, so so the 18th would work? Okay, all right. So would someone like to make a motion that we change our October meeting date to October 18th?
I move we accept October 18th as our meeting date for that month.
Okay, thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Jacqueline. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstain? Okay, so our October meeting date will be October 18th. All right, thank
Will
you.
it be at 2:00?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'll share my screen again to go to the agenda. The next item on our agenda is the 2023 annual report, The State of Sustainability, with Francine and Becca.
Thank you so much. Becca and I are going to share the presentation. I'm going to start off. So I'm not sure how many of you guys watched the Wednesday public meeting for County Council. If so, we did share portions of this presentation to Council. It has been changed a bit just to tailor it to our Sustainability Commission. So we are going to start. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, hopefully everyone can see it. All right, good. So this is our third annual update, which is pretty amazing that we're on year 3 of having this update from the Office of Sustainability and our 6 departments that report under the umbrella of sustainability. I wanted to start by reiterating the mission of our Office of Sustainability. So the Delaware County Sustainability Commission was created by a resolution of Delaware County Council adopted on February 19th of 2020. Our Office of Sustainability was established in 2021, and our mission is to create a more efficient, sustainable, and resilient county.
Wait, can I just, I'm not sure if you wanted to be in presentation mode or not. You're in the mode where we can see your notes. I'm not sure if you wanted that or not.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't need people to know I'm reading this now. All right, that's interesting. Stop sharing. I tried to push it so it was not that way. All right, let's see if this works. How is that?
It's not, I don't see it. I don't see the shared screen at all right now.
Okay, let's try again. Technical difficulties today. All right. So this will fix the issue. Oh, no, still doing that. That's interesting. I don't know why it's doing that, because I'm doing it the way I've always done it, which never shows. Let's try this. Did that do it?
Yes, there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carol, for letting me know before I went on further. So I stated our mission, and then I would like to share with you how we're doing this. How are we fulfilling this mission of incorporating sustainability into all aspects of our work? So we're operationalizing sustainability into our county government through the 6 departments that report to the Office of Sustainability. We're also developing and implementing our sustainability plan that was just released. We collaborate with our commission, and we get the word out about climate change and the resources available to our stakeholders. And so in order for us to be successful in our work, we really need to realize that we can't solve a problem with the same mindset that created the problem. The seed change is required. And so Delaware County Council established a seed change when it created the Sustainability Commission, when it hired a chief sustainability officer, when it formed our Office of Sustainability. And in turn, it's our job to continue with this work. So I would like to share a few examples of how we've done this in the past. Our office established seed change in early 2022 when it completed a facility condition and needs assessment and energy audits of our county buildings. And if you guys recall, the folks that were here then, I shared that with you step by step as we did the facility condition and needs assessment so that you were aware of what was happening. These studies provided baseline data that informs our decisions on capital spending today in 2023. We're also using the energy audit data in our 2023 state block grant application for relighting the government center. So this information is really helpful. And so when we obtain that type of information, it does sort of plant the seed to be done. One other item I wanted to share is that in 2021, our team requested the role of working on the capital improvement program loan. We worked in 2021 to lock in extremely low interest rate for 22 and 23. And we were also advised by the financing consultant that because of our facility condition and needs assessment, and because of our detailed capital improvement program that showed a prioritization for sustainability projects, we were in a better position to borrow. And that's one of the reasons why we were able to obtain these 2 historically low and the largest loans we've ever had at the lowest interest rates. And so I actually wanted to share another example of that. If you guys recall the 1724 courthouse in Chester, when we were going through the process of trying to lease that facility with the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission, It was a long process to get there, but our Sustainability Commission supported this because we want to preserve and keep our historical and cultural aspects of Delco alive through our work. And that work that we did 2 years ago to get this property to be a part of Delaware County's building inventory, which is the oldest continuously used public courthouse in the nation, where the Declaration of Independence was read for one of the first times at that particular location. Right now, it is being highlighted in our quincentennial celebration in Delaware County, or the 250th birthday of the United States of America. And so these things are all connected. It's a seed change when we make these bold moves to do things that not everybody else would consider doing. So I wanted to share with you, function follows form, and our organizational structure or form allows our departments to function as a cross-disciplinary team with a unified vision. We spend time as a team breaking down silos and finding connections in our work. As you can see, we have public property, planning department, facilities, fleet management, conservation district, and our parks and recreation in our team. And so I wanted to share with you that our organizational structure is unique, as we all know, and it exists only because of our county council's groundbreaking leadership and approach to governing, their seed change. The fact that we have a CSO overseeing 6 departments has piqued the interest of other organizations, such as our neighboring counties and even traditional national groups. In 2023, the American Public Works Association traveled from Missouri to interview our team and published a video in their Roving Reporter series. In 2023, our team also was invited by Chester County's Operation Group to share our unique structure in a presentation. This connection was made because we are members of an inter-county sustainability group spearheaded by DVRPC. And through this group, Delaware County has been able to share our leadership's commitment to sustainability as a strategic initiative, and our neighbors have taken notice. And because of our leadership model, Chester, Bucks, and Montgomery counties have added sustainability positions to their team. And so our 6 departments and the Office of Sustainability only make up 3% of our county's overall operating budget. But with that said, our departments play a major role in leveraging the county's significant capital investments and other infrastructure spending. With this small group of departments, we actually have leveraged over $2 million in grants in 2023 as well, in addition to this operating budget. And so I wanted to demonstrate how this works. So we have key performance indicators that are best management practices. Our departments have these traditional key performance indicators for quality, productivity, and efficiency. And so, for example, facilities management measures the number of work orders received, completion rates, costs, and quality of work. For public works, we measure a project's success by staying on budget and schedule, and we aim to minimize change orders. But when we look at our work through the lens of sustainability, we can consider the products we procure in terms of the use of recycled materials, their emissions during manufacture and transport, as well as our suppliers' diversity and responsible contracting commitment. So a sustainability mindset was used in the creation of our new destination playground at Rose Tree Park. This was opened this year in 2023. The planning department identified the project, applied for and received grant money, and started the public engagement process to determine what the park should look like. Our public works then took the project on and completed it through a design and then construction. And so our parks and recreation then received the final product to operate and maintain for our community's benefit. So this project not only showed the interaction of our team as a group, but it also shows success in terms of the triple bottom line that I know the Sustainability Commission stands for. And so this park actually enhances the quality of life for all who visit. It provides an economic boost in real estate and businesses located near the park, according to our environmental impact, our return on environment study that we published. And it supports climate action through stormwater management infrastructure and green spaces with tree shade and carbon sink features. So that's a demonstration of how we operate in our department. And so I would like to share with you some 2023 highlights. So 2023 was a groundbreaking year for Delaware County in terms of climate action with the release of Sustain Delco, which is our holistic approach to sustainability, deeply rooted in collaborative partnerships, data, and guiding principles. After nearly 3 years of work in collaboration with dozens of partners and the support of County Council and the Sustainability Commission, our team published Sustain Delco. I have to give a huge amount of credit to Becca Yurkovich, our Sustainability and Resilience Manager, for convening 6 subcommittee meetings. Between these groups, there were 89 people, over 63 hours of active meetings. And during that time, they defined our goals, our targets, and our actions. In 2023, Becca also organized 4 public open houses, 1 in Chester, 1 in Media, 1 in Upper Darby, and 1 virtually. I'm going to hand this over to Becca for a few slides to talk about our Sustained Delco plan.
Thanks, Fran. So in kind of coming back to end of year review, I feel like we've heard so much about this plan this year that it kind of sometimes feels like old news, but I just kind of wanted to remind everybody in doing this end of year review of how far we came from last December. So as of December 2022, we had guiding principles and we also had our focus areas, but we hadn't yet had any actions. We hadn't yet had any sub goals. And we still had not met with all of our internal departments. So since then, we not only finalized goals and identified sub goals this year, but we also identified over 300 actions to implement our plan, while also vetting all of those actions through our focus areas to ensure that all of them are reflective of our key values. We also drafted the entire plan this year in 2023, went through reviews of both our Sustainability Commission, internal staff, as well as County Council, went through graphic design, and we also presented and accepted this plan both through the Commission and through County Council. So a lot happened this year in creating this document. So Fran, you can go to the next slide. So Fran already kind of touched on the fact that we did 4 open houses this year, but I also wanted to highlight to you some of the other community engagement that was done in an effort to support our plan. So on this map, you'll see lots of stars all over our county. I mapped out kind of where all of our public engagement sessions were that were specific to our sustainability plan. So largely these were either our open houses, which were in the planning phase, but also just organizations that have reached out to us in hearing about the plan, requesting a presentation, and to learn more. So all of the green stars are those organizations or individuals that requested presentations. The red stars you'll see in Westchester as well as in Concord Township were tabling events that we were invited to and participated in. And finally, you'll see the yellow star for our conference. This was kind of a fun exercise to see as well, just not only to highlight the work that we did in 2023, but to also show us where some additional work needs to be done in 2024 of those areas of the county that we haven't touched yet through public education or awareness. So in 2023, in addition to finishing this plan, as well as kind of sharing it with the public, I just wanted to pull out some of the actions from the plan that are actively either underway or starting, or even some that are nearing completion. You'll note I just pulled a handful of these projects, but I thought it was worth showing just how much progress has happened already. So first, our GIS department is updating our existing open space parcel. We're also undergoing a tree canopy RFP, which is set for release by the end of this calendar year. Our conservation district has also awarded mini grants for riparian buffers, as well as other projects improving water quality. The Clean Air Council has officially started their process for creating a sub-watershed group for the Namens, Marcushook, and Stony Creek watersheds. There's also been work in updating our baseline sidewalk inventory and looking at how we can continue to update that data in perpetuity as well with our regional partners. I know our planning department has also been fantastic in starting their Vision Zero and active transportation plans this year. DVRPC has also started the action of creating model design guidelines to ensure safe bike crossings at different kinds of intersections, and that is set to be released in June of 2024, but has been actively underway this year. our the Office of Sustainability and our facilities department, specific shout out to Sue on this call, has been working to implement off-hours energy reduction. So ensuring that our lighting systems are turning off overnight rather than being on 24/7. We've also been working to right-size our recycling program in the government center, so ensuring that we actually have adequate infrastructure for all of our employees to be recycling, as well as start all of the groundwork for starting a pilot composting program with Mother Compost, which is actually set to officially start in the first month of 2024. Also, increasing community air quality monitoring, which is a huge project in our planning department, as well as with Clean Air Council. And finally, additional installation of community gardens in some of our county parks. So this is just a very quick handful of some of the actions in our plan, but it's important to note that the commitment in having these actions in writing has really ensured that these initiatives are continuing to move forward through completion.
Okay, I just want to add one more that happened to pop into my mind, and that is that Public Works is in the process of working with a consultant on the electric vehicle charging station infrastructure feasibility study. So it's a pretty cool one.
Absolutely. So that was a lot, like speed sharing. But looking into 2024, I just wanted to give like a formal update of kind of where we're going for the next steps for our plan. So I know I've already shared many of these steps with you, but I just wanted to reiterate and also share kind of why they haven't started yet. So first and foremost, we're going to be establishing an online reporting form for both our county departments and external partners, as well as updating kind of the status report of each of our actions, of where things are currently sitting in 2024, as well as looking to create a website or a dashboard to ensure transparency in our progress. One of the other big things that we're looking to do in 2024, which I know I've mentioned to you as well, is having a roadshow, which we would be engaging all 49 of our municipalities to make them aware of the plan, the tools that are available to them, as well as kind of what they can be doing in terms of sustainability. We'll also be looking to meet with our internal departments to ensure that they're following up on the actions that have been identified through our planning process. And finally, launching our working groups, which we've also chatted about in these meetings. So the last thing that we'll be doing is then, of course, implementing these priority projects. So some of them, again, this is not all encompassing, is hosting our 5 Keep Delco Beautiful events, while also working on some of our actions that require the establishment of baselines and gathering necessary data, as well as establishing relationships and building community trust. And I wanted to just share that. So for the past couple of months, to kind of help lay the foundation to be able to do these implementation strategies, what I've been working on is figuring out the chronology of our actions. So what I mean by that is recognizing that a lot of our actions build upon each other. So I've been working to create a matrix that shows kind of what has to come first in the order of actions to ensure that they can actually, all of the actions are being done to the breadth that they were intended to, if that makes sense. So I'm happy to share that that has since been created. It's a very intense pivot table in Excel, if any of you use Excel. But it really cuts our actions to show, even though we have almost 300 actions, these are the ones that really need to go first because they lay the foundation for other actions. And it also shows kind of what things can be occurring at the same time, to really put us in a better situation to kind of tackle these actions in 2024. So I just wanted to share that that's what I've been working on for the past couple of months. And that's why some of these other ideas that we've come up with haven't seen much progress. But we're very much, again, looking to lay that foundation so in 2024 we can get off on the right foot. So with that, I'll pass it back to Francine.
Thank you so much. The work you do is truly astounding. Your planning background really comes through. Showing me that spreadsheet today was intense with the pivot table too. So I just want to go back to some more highlights here. In 2023, we had a really awesome year, not just Sustain Delco being launched, but we also held our election sign recycling event that was generated cash for the metal post once again. We had the largest turnout that we've ever seen. And our Parks and Rec folks actually used some of the metal post to in the Festival of Lights to put up some of the lights. So they were reusing some of those materials as well. And the plastic went to a recycling facility. We held public e-waste and household hazardous waste events in collaboration with the Pennsylvania Resource Council and the Solid Waste Authority. In fact, more than 300 households dropped off TVs, computers, phones, and other electronics in just 4 hours on October 17th. It was pretty impressive. And I just want to bring up once again the Keep Delaware County beautiful affiliation. It was through the hard work and dedication of Becca that we went through many, many steps. It's not an easy process to do this affiliation. And this affiliation will allow us to partner with organizations on initiatives such as park and stream cleanups, training, and access to grant funds. So 2023, we also had, we established seed change for renewable energy to grow in our region. The county entered into an MOU with neighboring counties to leverage our combined purchasing power to procure renewable energy for the greatest value, while also influencing the availability of renewable resources, helping to break down barriers to allow for solar, wind, and other renewable energy infrastructure to be constructed in Pennsylvania. And finally, the county was recognized by WGL with a certificate of environmental stewardship for the purchase of 100% green e-energy certified wind power. And right now, that's the only way we can really get connected to renewable energy is through our RECs or renewable energy credits. So we do that to the maximum possible. I just want to mention our sustainability conference. We had our second annual sustainability conference this year. It was held at Widener University on June 8th. And the event brought together over 250 attendees around the topic of sustainability and climate change once again. Our keynote speaker, Justin Harris, who is the executive director of the Climate Equity Collaborative, he actually returned to visit us in November with members of a net zero delegation from Taiwan. Carol was actually with us. She joined us for that meeting. Becca was there. Gina, she hosted it at her planning department office. And so they visited the Stetzer Elementary School in Chester also, this Taiwan delegation for net zero. And they're working with the classroom on a classroom exchange program between a student classroom in Taiwan and in the United States in this classroom in Stetzer. So more to come on that really cool collaboration. Can't wait to share that. And finally, our 2024 look ahead. This is what we're hoping to do. We're looking to, of course, implement Sustain Delco, which is going to be the crux of our work. And as Becca mentioned, we're going to visit the 49 municipalities to share the plan. And by the end of 2024, we will share our first annual report with progress on the metrics that are in the plan. We will also convene the county's first leadership. Yes. I'm sorry. That's what he says. We're also going to convene the county's first leadership team sustainability retreat in January. We're going to have the Cloud Institute come. We're hoping that our council members will be there, but it's with our directors and some other leadership here to get them to start using the words of sustainability and have a sustainability mindset in our work. We formed a green team at the government center. Becca mentioned the pilot program. We're going to start a pilot organics waste collection program. We contracted with Mother Harvest, I think. And we're going to start that in the courthouse cafe. So it's going to be pre-consumer food waste at that time, food scraps. And then we're going to have a highly visible recycling program throughout the government center and courthouse. And in 2024, as Becca mentioned, we're going to have our tree canopy study. And we're going to focus on the EV charging infrastructure. So we really look forward to working with you and showing measurable progress. Thank you so much. Stop sharing. There we are.
Oh
Carly.
my gosh. Thank you, Francine and Becca. Oh my gosh, how wonderful. Does anyone have any questions for Becca or Francine?
That was amazing stuff. Just unbelievably impressive. And congratulations to all. It's very well done. I think I can probably speak for all of us in saying that we feel that that you've really validated the faith that county government has placed in you, and that the public has placed in you. And for us who are volunteering from the community, we have seen more action in the past 3 years than we could have dreamed possible.
Thank you, David. Thank you for sharing that. It's just so amazing and excellent. Like, I was just blown away by that update. Some of them I knew about, and other was like, oh, wow. And looking ahead to 2024. And anyone else have any other questions or comments for Becca and Francine?
I just want to say thank you to all of you guys. We genuinely could not have done this without the commission, as well as just our members of the public in general. I think that one of the things to be most proud about in this sustainability plan is that it truly was built from the ground up. And we just sincerely appreciate your expertise and your passion and the time that you guys have dedicated, because we could not have done this without you guys either. So congratulate yourselves as well.
Oh. Well, thank you. I'm sure likewise, I speak for all of us that we just appreciate working with you on this. What an exciting time. And just imagine the positive change that's going to be happening for our county and for the environment. And not only that, you're influencing surrounding counties on how to make sure the sustainability is just woven into their structure. And so your influence is even outside of the county borders. Like, you're having such a big influence. So thank you so much again, Becca and Francine. I just don't know how to thank you for all of your work. Just thank you. And of course, thank you to all the commission members too. But that was just an amazing update. It's just amazing. So thank you so much. Again, any other comments or questions for Becca or Francine? Okay. All right, I'll share my screen again and go on to the next item on the agenda. Okay. Oh, so the next item on the agenda is public comment. So anyone who'd like to contribute to public comment, you can send it in through the chat or the email at sustaindelco@co.delaware.pa.us. So we'll check to see if there are any comments at the email
Nothing at
address.
this time, Carol.
None? Okay. All right. So I guess we'll go on to the next item on the agenda, which is, and our timing is so good for the agenda, we're spot on. 2024 conference planning. Becca?
Sure. So once again, we are starting to plan for our next conference. So I'm happy to share a couple of updates, and I'm also going to be looking for your feedback today as well, to assist as we are looking at some of the logistics. So first and foremost, I want to share that one thing that is unique about this year's conference is we did receive a $5,000 grant from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection to help support our conference. So two of the large focuses of that grant application, which are to be implemented through our conference, include the involvement of our environmental justice community, as well as the involvement of high school students this year. So that is something that is new and is coming, but just something I wanted to remind you all of. As of right now, we are still looking at our venue options. We have not entered into a contract yet. However, we have three main choices. So because of our grant, the emphasis is to really involve the environmental justice community and ensure that we are providing access as we have in years past. So this year we tried to look at what our new conference venues were to continue just trying new places each year. However, we were finding that it was really difficult to find spaces to accommodate our size as well as our needs. But the three that we have kind of come up with as our finalists at this time are Cheney University, which is in Thornbury Township, the Drexel Brook, which is in Upper Darby, and looking at Widener University again. There are pros and cons with each of them, and right now we're just working with all of the staffs at each of those venues to see kind of where the give and take are with some of the challenges, to overall see what is the most cost effective as well as accessible, as well as the most comfortable. So I'll be sure to provide updates as we learn more. Another consideration I just wanted to share with you is, so in terms of timing for the conference, because we are looking to involve high school students this year, we have looked to shift our date a little bit. So right now, what we are proposing to our venues is the last week of May. So this would just be shifting us up 1 week. But it's kind of the sweet spot for high schools in that they don't have state testing during that time, but they're also not in their end of the year activities yet. So again, it's kind of it's like a chicken or the egg with the venue in terms of date. So once the venue is locked in, we'll also have the date. Another thing I just kind of wanted to put on your radar, which we'll be sharing with you very shortly, is one thing that we're trying to do this year is formally use that fiscal sponsorship with the foundation, which has been like such a huge highlight for us. So for our first time ever, we're going to be looking to fundraise for additional support for our conference this year. So what we have drafted is some different fundraising tiers that would allow for like sponsors, or like some of them are like presenting sponsors, as well as like just having logos or recognition on slides during the event. So it's kind of the same thing that would have been offered last year, but it's just a little bit more formalized. So as it's currently being updated with our solicitor right now, but you should see that very soon. And once it is sent, we just kindly request that if it seems appropriate to share with your networks. So this gets into where we are looking for your input. So based off of all of the feedback that we received from you last year, one of the things that we noted was important was to make our day a little bit shorter, just by like an hour, but also to offer breakout sessions in which participants would be allowed or able to kind of go to whichever sessions are more of interest and alignment with their either work or just interests. So in having that option this year also means that we're going to need a larger pool of speakers. So at this time, I just kind of wanted to open it up to see if you guys have any ideas for like great speakers or even just session topics that you would like to see or would like us to at least try to reach out to folks for details. So if anybody has ideas, I would love for you to share them at this time.
Well, I got one thought, which is there's this whole new department at Penn that's headed up by Michael Mann. Now they're more climate change than sustainability, but I would suspect that buried in that department might be some very interesting speakers that we might be able to get, and I'm sure we have enough connections with the Penn faculty that we could arrange something.
I wanted to share something, if that's okay. Have you any of you heard of Ron Finley in California? He's done this amazing TED Talk that's had like 5 million views, or even more than that. What he does is he has there's a very like economically challenged area of Los Angeles where he just starts planting gardens. Like, who did the thumbs up that I can't tell? Was it someone who knows Ron Finley or knows of him? But anyway, so if you haven't seen his TED Talk, like right after the meeting today, that's like one of the first things that I think you should do, because he's absolutely amazing. So he started out by like he has, you know how we all have a strip of land, like if we have a sidewalk in front of our house, there's like a grassy patch between the sidewalk and the street. What he did is he just started growing vegetables in that area, and he got pushback from like the council of his town, but you know, he started planting in other areas and taking, so he has like, he's just amazing. Like he's from California, so I don't know if he would come over here, but you never know. Or maybe I don't know. Like I think it's someone at least worth reaching out to see. You never know. Maybe I don't know if there's any way that he would come over here for that, but you never know. Like, oh, okay, put his name in the chat. I can do that. Yeah, let's see here.
And I'm
Um,
happy to send the list to
Yeah,
Carol
please.
of like just what everybody is saying
Yeah,
after.
that would be
So
good.
folks
Yeah.
can add or look into people.
Sure, and I'll send you like the link to the TED Talk because it's absolutely fabulous. And he's changed his community by like planting more fruits and vegetables, and he's created jobs. Like it's just absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. And his TED Talk is just so incredible. So I'll send it to you. But anyway, so that's a thought.
I think the biggest pushback in our county would be from the dogs.
Oh, well, wait, let me say, wait, that's just how he started when like he didn't have any place to, you know, have any place to plant vegetables. But now he works with Los Angeles for acquiring property that no one uses anymore. So yeah, I mean, it's his initiative is not to plant gardens between the street and the sidewalk. That's kind of how he started because he didn't have any land to plant on. But now it's all about, you know, getting unusable space, creating community around community gardens, like creating community around like planting fruits and vegetables and creating like, you know, free food for the community. Like you can grow these vegetables and help support, you know, food insecurity and yeah.
I was just joking.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Ed, I see your hand up too.
Ed, do you
Yeah.
have anything?
I'm still thinking that one of the things that we need at the sustainability conference is an update or a state of the sustainability plan, like we did today with the. It just updated since it'll be the first year that we'll actually have the plan in place for a year. I think it would be very good to highlight where we've been and where our priorities should be for the coming year.
Thank you. Anybody else have ideas? And it doesn't have to be a specific person. If you guys have like a specific topic, we're happy to do the research to figure out who that person might be.
I would like to see somebody come from the Rodale Institute and Pennsylvania Association for Sustainable Agriculture. I think they might both have interesting things to say.
Rodale, Rodale.
I'll put them in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Any other thoughts or ideas? And if not, that's okay. We still have some time. But I'll also send around the list of what our folks have said today, as well as some of the ideas our conference, like internal conference planning team has come up with. Alrighty. Well, if there's no other ideas, the only other thing I want to bring up about the conference to kind of put you all on watch for is, as you know, we've done sustainability awards in the past. And I just wanted to put it out there that this year we are going to be leaning on you guys too to hear about other people in the community or organizations or things that you guys have seen in your work that have been doing amazing work in sustainability that should be recognized. So no need for that yet, and we'll send more information about like the categories and everything. But just to let you know, we're going to be tapping your expertise a little bit later. So, and that's everything I had about the conference.
Okay, thank you, Becca. Are there any other suggestions or comments or any questions for Becca? Okay, right, hearing none. That's exciting. I'll go on to our agenda. Okay. All right, so, right, the next item on the agenda is commission reflection and discussion. So, hold on just a minute. Let me stop sharing just for a minute. Okay.
And Carol, if it's easiest during this section, I can type if you want to do the questions.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on just a minute. I think, let me give it a try. I might be okay. Okay. I know Jacqueline has to actually leave in a few minutes, but Jacqueline, did you want to share anything before you go? You're muted, Jacqueline. I don't know if you're trying to speak. All right, well, we'll continue. So what we want to do is to reflect on our successes for 2023, priorities for 2024, anything regarding meeting structure and provision for feedback in 2024. And it thought it'd be also good to share some of our personal sustainability goals. And of course, Becca and Francine shared some awesome successes from 2023. But were there any other successes that you wanted to share that you wanted to emphasize here? Or any that are specific to the Sustainability Commission in particular? Actually, Becca, it might be better if you took notes so I can share my screen so I can see everybody.
No problem.
Okay, thanks. All right, so I will stop sharing. So Becca will take notes, but I wanted to make sure I could see all of you in case anyone raises their hand or unmutes, then I'll know that you're trying to speak. So in terms of successes from 2023, what would you like to share?
I can kick off. So this
Yep.
is a small thing that's not like worthy of presentations, but I still think it's kind of a fun anecdote that's worth noting. Is during our campaign sign recycling event, we had an older gentleman come up to us and ask like what sustainability was because he saw the event going on in the signs. So I think just kind of like to emulate that example, I think this year between both our staff as well as our commission members, I think there were a lot of new conversations and connections that started of people who maybe had pre-connotations or didn't really know what sustainability was about, had like new avenues to learn about it.
Oh,
So
yeah,
just
that's a
want to
good
share
one.
that.
Yeah. I guess just all of our effort on the sustainability plan, like Becca, all of the meetings that you had, and I know a lot of people here, like you participated in those meetings. So I know that was repeated from, what your presentation was earlier, Becca and Francine, but I also think just the fact that so many of us on the commission were a part of those meetings, I think that's a success of the commission also. And all of the work that went into the plan. Like the plan is just absolutely incredible. So I think like that's a success of the commission and just in general, the whole Sustain Delco office. But so I think all of the work that went into the plan and that it got published. And so anyone else would like to share anything? David, do you want to mute yourself?
Well, you know, I'd like to say that it's really, again, very gratifying to see what was for many of us just, you know, a vision turning into a concrete reality this year. And and to echo Carol's point, I have you know, referred a lot of people to read the plan, and everybody who looks at that plan says, "Wow, that is an amazing plan." And you know, universally, people are impressed with it, and so I think that's an accomplishment of you know, jointly everybody involved to turn that vision into something that people can understand.
David, I just want to piggyback off that. It's noteworthy to say that we didn't use a consultant. And this was all done in-house with our collaborators. And, you know, Becca had so much patience and fortitude to go through day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute with these groups of people who wanted to share and contribute. And it takes a very special talent and art to do that. And it was done very well. So thank you, Becca, and the team. It was truly well done. Without a consultant, which is pretty cool. It saves taxpayers dollars because we did it in-house.
I think just having the, you know, those at the county who live in the county and work in the county and kind of are immersed in this all the time, to all, like all of us are, to be a part of that really makes a difference. In fact, like all of the photographs are from Delaware County. Like I think an important document like that, just rooted into the county, was like so valuable.
And it took the seed change of, I hate to keep harping on it, of Delaware County Council forming a sustainability commission.
Yes.
They don't exist everywhere. That was a bold move on the part of Delaware County. And this is what comes of it. You were tasked with, the commission was tasked with doing a plan or creating this plan. And so it is wonderful to see it come to fruition.
Yes, yes. And you know what would be neat if, like, for the surrounding counties, but also not just the surrounding counties, but in other places in the country, that, you know, our model for Delaware County structure is adopted other places, to have the chief sustainability officer have all of those departments report up to it. Like, can you imagine how much the country would change with that? It's amazing to think about that too. So does anyone else have any ideas for successes for 2023? Let's see, we could move on to, I guess the next category is priorities for 2024. So what are your ideas on priorities for 2024? I know we already did talk about, you know, making sure that we're reporting on progress on what was in the plan for 2024. But what are your other thoughts on even anything with regard to Sustainability Commission meetings, or what we do as a commission, or how we leverage the strength of everything that Becca and Francine are doing, leverage that for even like greater strength? David, I see you unmuted yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was sort of going to ask the same question. You know, what can we do this year What can we as a Sustainability Commission do to further the plan, since, that was our first function. I think we need your guidance, Francine and Becca, and County Council's guidance, of course.
I have to say that Becca and I talked today, and once again, Becca had an amazing idea. I know you're all playing Becca, but seriously, she's a really brilliant young woman, and I listened to her. And she said to me today about having the commission members become very familiar with the training module, or the module we're going to use when we visit the 49 municipalities about our sustainability plan. And I mentioned, like, let's build a toolbox for what we're going to share with our municipalities, because everyone wants to know, first of all, what can the county give to the municipality to help them, and what can they do to help our cause? And so, Becca, do you want to talk a little bit more about that idea? Because I think it was really brilliant.
Sure, I think this goes back to, I think it might have been you, David, honestly. Might have been somebody else, but I know there had been an expression of trying to get involved in doing some of these community presentations, of just kind of like sharing the plan and what people can do. So I think that honestly doing kind of a train the trainer, and like if we all had one kind of standardized presentation and like the toolbox that Fran is talking about, I think that that would be a really nice priority, to not only have our office being the ones getting out there, but also having our commission members where they feel comfortable and interested in doing some of these presentations as well. I think that as somebody that works in or worked in a municipality, I think that sometimes hearing from your constituents rather than like top down is much more impactful. So I think that that would be a really neat way to get you guys more involved, of, again, only if of people who want to participate, but like doing the train the trainer in those presentations so we can reach more people.
I'll volunteer for that. I'll volunteer for that. And I'm used to putting together training programs. So I have expertise in that area. I'd love to help.
As would I.
Anyone else interested in participating in that? Steve, I see your hand is raised. Oh, are you speaking, Steve? I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear him?
No.
Oh, no, we can't hear you. Sorry. Can you type it in the chat? Or do you want to disconnect and come back on? Or connect to audio through your phone even? Okay. All right. So before we leave this conversation, we'll make sure you've had a chance to speak. Oh. For 2024, we should engage PADEP on their plans for implementing the IRA. Oh, thanks. Okay. All right.
So I'm happy you brought that up, Steve.
Yeah.
One thing I can share about that is, so in addition to, so if you're not familiar, right now states were provided money to do CPIRG, which is like, what is it? Community or climate, oh gosh. It's for climate planning. I don't remember what the acronym is for. But it's for like climate resilience planning. And right now the states have to make plans and help identify priority projects, as well as like many of the metropolitan planning organizations. Like the United States was broken up into smaller like regional sections. So we are participating with the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Association, so DVR or Commission, DVRPC, and we're lumped with New Jersey, Pennsylvania, parts of and Delaware and parts of Maryland to do that. And I will say, so they were asking for people to do community engagement with, and I did put in our commission as a group. So Steve, that might be a way to get more involved in the regional plan that then goes up to the state plan. And I'll keep you guys updated on that. We've only had like one meeting so far.
And thanks for your comment in the chat, David.
Yeah, Justin has been around the county for a long time, so.
And just a quick mention about the train the trainer for a moment. Some of you may think, oh gosh, like I've never spoken public or I'm not comfortable with it. Typically in train the trainer programs, we help you become comfortable with it. So please don't let that deter you from trying. So just another thought about that. Oh, Steve, okay. Can you ask them to speak to us? Oh, can you ask them to speak to us on this, David? PADP has received $3 million in federal grants to fund the creation of a priority climate action plan by March 1st of 2024.
Sure, I can email him.
Okay. Any other thoughts on 2024 priorities?
Another one I'll throw out there, and I'm throwing it out on behalf of Julia as well as the rest of the commission. But I know we've talked about those working groups. So this is the year I would like to prioritize the working groups. So we had talked about our first two kind of as our test subjects because we already know there's a large need and people that are interested are the building the connection with farmers and local food, and then our like policy and legislative. So just putting that on the record.
Are you asking for volunteers on those two working groups?
Not yet, just saying it needs to be a priority.
I pre-volunteer for the first one because I'm interested in that one. But so it sounds like we have a lot of great 2024 priorities. Like even if we just implemented what we just talked about, we would be busy all year. But any other priorities that you can think of for us in 2024?
I actually would like to mention that we're focusing on the hospitality industry in Delaware County. We're going to form a task force, bringing together restaurants, catering services, and institutions with food services areas, dining, to put together a task force that the task is to create a resource guide for bringing composting and organics collection to events, as well as glass collection, and also addressing food insecurity through having a way for food to be donated that day to families and other places, food banks. And so it's going to be the end product. We're hoping it'll be about a 6-month process, bringing these people together. We're going to bring the health department in as well, because they know where all of the restaurants and caterers are in the county. And also one of the things we're trying to do is leveraging the purchasing power of this consortium or group of hospitality industry folks in contracting out these composting and recycling and different services that come to an event to help out, with the goal of reducing waste and also providing food to those in need.
Wow, absolutely amazing. Wow. Any other thoughts about 2024 targets or 2024 initiatives you'd like us to do together? Okay. Did we also want to talk about possible like speakers for 2024? You know how we typically have speakers at our meetings? Are there any ideas from anyone on people you'd like us to bring in to have as a guest speaker at commission meetings? Oh, right. Thanks, Steve. Right. Yeah, David's gonna reach out to him.
And I think Justin was one of the first speakers we had in 2021, speaking on behalf of environmental justice. And I think that was really one of my favorite speakers. And I'd love to have him back again too.
Thanks. Any other ideas? Okay. And even if you have ideas after this meeting, you know, you can always email Becca and Francine. You can email me. You can reach out if you have any other ideas. You may not have a lot of ideas right now, getting put on the spot a little bit, but you may think of something like next week. And so feel free to just send in an email with your ideas. Let's see. Becca, did you still want feedback on meeting structure and provision of feedback in 2024?
Sure, I was just I know Carol, we had spoken about this potentially. Just seeing if, like, I know we had talked about maybe in certain meetings, like not having speakers and it just be more like open discussion and working meetings. Just as an idea, again, like nothing solid in stone. This is where you get to throw spaghetti at the wall. Or like if there were any other kind of ideas around how the commission could be issuing feedback. I think, Carol, you had mentioned maybe having, I think, like 15 minutes out of every meeting to just discuss like a particular topic in which the commission could be giving feedback on. Or even just kind of doing a roundtable more so. So these meetings are more like discussion based than just like talking at you all the time.
Well, like for example, if you and Francine regarding one of the initiatives that's in the plan that you're bringing to fruition, and you're like, wow, we would really like the commission's feedback on this, or you think, oh, the commission would be great for whatever, to provide maybe, you know, that opportunity in these meetings to get that feedback. So what do people think about that? Do you feel like this is an appropriate like venue for that kind of discussion? Does it feel too formal to have that kind of discussion here, and you'd rather have it like in a working group session that isn't recorded, or
I'm wondering whether there is anything that can be timely about that. You know, there may be questions of a strategic direction that could be shared in that manner, I think. But in terms of, you know, implementing the plan, I think decisions have to be made in, you know, on when they come up, and there really isn't time for consultation. So that's my only reservation about that.
looks like Steve does have another comment in the chat. This may be associated, or where are we with social media? We had an intern creating content and sharing our work. Is that still happening?
So I can touch on that. So since our last intern for our office was actually last winter, this year with the like critical time of finalizing the plan, we're not in a position where we took on an intern this year. So in the meantime, I've been your social media intern. So I apologize. I know you'll often see content kind of ebb and flow in terms of like a lot of the time you'll see more posts all at once or whatever. And unfortunately, it's just kind of something as my time allows. But if you guys have ideas for social media or I know I always like to do fun facts on Fridays as a more kind of consistent thing. You are more than welcome to share them. Because we're in a position we can kind of preload stuff into the future. So if you guys send stuff, we can always work on it and plan it out further ahead. And Steve, while you bring that up, every single month I'm going to harass y'all. For those of you, we've had a lot of people do meet the members. They were really awesome posts. If you haven't, I would still love to highlight you on our social media. So if you haven't, please send it. Or if you don't want to participate, just let me know you don't want to participate so I stop harassing you. So that's my soapbox. You got to get it every month.
Well, thank you for doing that work, Becca. Like you wear many, many hats, it seems like. So any other thoughts on anything about like our meetings? I take it you've all enjoyed and you found it beneficial to have speakers who can talk about what's happening in our area or so that seems like we would want to continue that, but any other thoughts on our meetings or? Okay. And I think lastly, we were just going to talk about some personal goals for 2024, personal sustainability goals. Would anyone like to share any personal sustainability goals that they have for 2024? And it could be something that doesn't even seem like a big deal, but every little step matters. So
Yeah, actually, I have one. I'm planning to upgrade my my conventional gas water heater to a heat pump water heater next year.
oh, great, great, great. Anyone else have okay, so Steve Clark. Oh, I'm going to totally divest 401k from fossil fuels. How do you do, I mean, I know you can't speak, which is hard, because how do you do that anyway? Like, what if some of us want to do that? How do you even do that? So as you type, we'll continue with other people sharing. Oh, okay, thanks for the link. Okay. Well, that's a great goal for 2024. What are some of the other personal sustainability goals that you have for 2024 that you'd like to share? Or that you would like to continue from 2023? It doesn't necessarily have to be a brand new one, but any like personal sustainability goals?
I'll share. I'm hoping to buy a house this year, hopefully.
Um,
So if that's the case, I would absolutely love to finally be able to compost. My fourth floor apartment has not been great for that. So hopefully composting is in the cards for me this year.
Oh, great. That sounds like a great goal. Anyone else have any 2024 personal sustainability goals to share? Okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. Thanks for the link, Ed. Yeah, Becca has been very active with her Facebook page. Yeah. Okay.
Carol, are you going to add gardening as your goal for
Yes.
2024?
Yes, I am. Yes. And yes, it is. Yep. I'm kind of like new to gardening, but I'm just feeling so inspired. So yes, that's one of my goals. Yep. I think that's like the major goal. Because I don't really know that much about it yet. So I'll be like learning quite a lot. So, um, anyone else have anything they'd like to share before we move on to the next item on the agenda? Okay. Let's see. Let me share my screen again. Okay, the next item on the agenda is review action items from the last meeting. Becca, could you talk to that? I don't have very good notes from the
Sure.
last
So
meeting.
the big one we had, I apologize, I didn't pull the list of all of the like sending things out and everything. But the big one we had was about a bylaw change. This was brought up last meeting. And before I start in this conversation, I guess I just want to share it. This will not require voting today. So as per our bylaws, any changes to our bylaws have to be sent, I think, like 14 days in advance prior to voting. So I figured this would allow us to talk about it, and then we would vote in January. So Francine had proposed the bylaw of adding my position to the commission, which I will share. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So in red, this is our second article in our bylaws. So proposing two changes here. And again, this is completely up for discussion. This is not anywhere set in stone. This is just a proposal. So the first would be the addition of the Sustainability and Resilience Manager to the members list of county government. It's worth being noted that the intention of the commission was to have more members of the public than members of county government. And the addition of this position would not throw that balance off. It would, I believe, be 10 to 8 in terms of ratio of members of the public to government. And my feelings aren't going to be hurt if you guys don't want this. So I'm just going to say that now. The second thing that we wanted to potentially propose is the idea of having an alternate or a designee for the county government members, just recognizing that some of our departments have meetings that overlap. So like I know Laura Goodrich Cairns, she has IDA meetings, which, what is it? Oh my gosh, I'm failing with acronyms today, but she has one of her board meetings that meets at the same time as our board meetings every other month. So what this proposal would do is each county department during our annual reorganization meeting would designate a secondary representative in which would be able to serve as their proxy or their voting member in their absence. So for example, and I'm just calling out Parks today. So as you heard, like Mark couldn't be available today, but Ann Stauffer is here. So what that person would allow is it would allow for that department to still be represented with a formalized vote. So the language proposed here is each member of county government would be able to appoint a designee or alternate to fulfill their duties in the member's absence or disability. So each member would have one designee, which would be approved by a minimum of 2/3 majority of the current membership during the annual meeting. So the intention of that is recognizing that each department would have to say, this person is our designee or this is our alternate, and the commission would vote to approve that during each reorganization. And that would allow it for the commission to really know who's going to be showing up each month. It's either this person or this person to allow for continuity in all of the meetings. So again, this was just kind of an idea that came forward. This language was actually pulled from the energy board that was just created with our other 4 counties. We thought it was a neat idea. So would love to hear your comments, your thoughts, your changes. With the recognition, again, no vote is required this month. It would be in our January meeting.
I have one comment. As my high school English teacher used to say, don't call them witches. It should be who shall be approved by a minimum of 2/3 majority. I've been waiting for years to use that. I will tell you, I hear people do it all the time, but I never get a chance to use that.
Ah. Yeah. Okay.
You're like my husband. He always says, so if I say I'm done, or I say if I'm finished, he's like, or no, if you say you're done, he's like, turkeys are done, people are finished. Like the things that stick with us.
Um, did you, Ed, I see you sent in a question. Should we maybe remove the director of facilities? I don't think so, right? I mean,
Yeah, so sorry, just to touch on Egg's comment. So this is also another reason that we're proposing this change, is recognizing that if if we have a department where the director is not able to attend very often, or their, I guess, just schedule doesn't permit, or the interest isn't fully there, this would allow another member of staff to participate and still be able to be more engaged in the conversation while still actively having like an understanding and role of that department. So that was also a thought when drafting this.
I just have a quick question. I think it just may be my misunderstanding. So director of facilities is not the same as director of public works, right? It,
2 different departments,
right,
yes.
okay, director of facilities department, okay.
I'd like to
So
respond.
Sorry.
I just want to mention that facilities, director of facilities, right now we have someone who is a project manager. He was hired as a project manager. And we were just given approval to hire a facilities director in 2024. And so I think you might see a difference in the presence of this particular person. We're hoping to hire a facilities director. Ed Orner, we love him very much. He's really awesome what he does, but he doesn't have time. He's boots on the ground. He has so many things going on as a project manager, in addition to trying to lead the department. So we will be bringing in a facilities director next year, and he will be required to attend these meetings as part of his job function.
Just for a point of clarification, Carol, so our facilities department is more of like the building maintenance, like custodial staff are out of our facilities, or like an electrician, or kind of like those positions. And then our public works department is more structural. So they're like large scale construction, overseeing county bridges, overseeing like the parking lot projects. So they're like more large scale infrastructure. And they oversee the capital improvement program.
Are there any comments or questions for Becca about this? Okay. All right, hearing none. Oh, did you have something to say, David?
No.
No, oh, okay. I thought you unmuted to speak. Okay. I'll share my screen to go on to the next item on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is new business. Is there any new business that anyone wanted to bring up? looks like no one has any suggestions for new business. So I'll share my screen to go on to the next item on the agenda. Set action items for the next meeting. Okay, let's see, Becca is going to send out like all the information that we've been sharing here. She's going to be sending it. Hold on. Okay, all right. Yeah, so Becca is going to be putting like all of the ideas that we had. She's going to be putting together a summary of that and all of the brainstorming that we did today. She'll be summarizing that and sending it out to us. Let's see. Also, if anyone has not yet submitted or answered the questions for the Meet the Members, please do. Becca is still looking for, if you're interested in being featured on the Facebook page as one of the members, please get in touch with Becca. Also, Becca will be getting back to us with regard to where we are going to be having our 2024 sustainability event. Also, there are 2 working groups. What about can you repeat the 2 working groups again? I know one was
Sure.
like gardens related.
Sure. So one was the local foods and focusing on kind of having a more robust network around our local farmers. So this would be working with our conservation district, as well as, again, just taking their own initiative. And the second was around policy. So we had talked about how our plan has a lot of actions surrounding creating model ordinances. So this would be folks who are interested or have ideas or know great examples about local ordinances or even ordinances elsewhere in the country that serve as really good examples in some of the topic areas.
I don't know if it's possible to be on both, but as an elected official, I'm very familiar with like policies and things, so I could help. I think I have experience that would be helpful. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like we'll be setting up the structure of kind of what those look like as we get a little bit more into 2024.
So that was one of the other action items. Were there any other ones, Becca?
Carol, if you could just send the TED Talk link to folks, I think, and then I'm also going to send the list of conference speakers just so people can kind of review and share their ideas there. And then the last is I'll be sending out the language that was shared today about the bylaw change, recognizing that in our January our January meeting, we will be looking for a formalized vote.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Public comment, is there any public comment? Is there any like email in our email account?
Nothing in the email at this time.
Okay. Let's see. There's a message in the chat. The issue was not on current attendance, it was more keeping the current ratio and the issue of obtaining the quorum. I concur that the other suggested addition for an alternative would improve this issue moving forward. Okay. So unfortunately,
Becca did make it clear that I think it's just a requirement to have more public versus our employees. And so we are maintaining that. There's no specific ratio that was ever cited in the bylaws. So I don't think we have to worry about that.
Okay, all right. We actually can't have a motion for adjourning because we did have some people leave and we don't currently have quorum, so with that, I'll just say, would anyone else like to share anything before we end the meeting today? Okay. All right, well, thank you, everyone, and thank you, Becca, thank you, Francine, thank you to all of you for your commitment to the sustainability, to the environment, to our county, and looking forward to working with you all in the new year. So, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
See you all.
Happy holidays.
Enjoy your holidays.
Happy New Year.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.